Hey guys, let's talk about what went wrong with AI and basically how greedy they are. Because greed is what went wrong with AI. I'll talk about that today. So guys, you might remember AI again. You might remember. I can tell you right now, AI started as a really, really old experiment. In fact, from 1956, that's how old AI has been. The AI has been around forever. Okay. In 1956, I think it was called the Dartmouth Workshop. Check it out. It's a workshop for AI and call it, yeah, it was first used as artificial intelligence then. And the idea was it was supposed to be, again, just an experiment that people carry out. It was a convention, so people went in, mostly bright minds, robotics, and then find out how to use AI, AI, intelligence, robotics as well to make decisions and move based on what part to what part. Then it became, and then if you look at that, that's 1956. And then after that, then it became a form of AI now went into, and people know this as well. Just search online, okay, please educate yourself on these things. Search online. You're going to see that. You'll also see as well that AI is only a form of mechanic, just mechanics. It's a form such that in finance, right, AI has been used for a long time because it takes a decision, A and B, and quicker than humans. So humans, we try, let's say we will go like gas. We want to try and find the best way possible, and sometimes it takes a longer time, but we get there. AI just look at logic, A, B, and then go quicker as well. So what that means then, all our trading positions then in banking were done by machines. And a lot of people lost their jobs as well, which is the case. I'll talk about, greed here, right? But that was the case. So as soon as we found out that you could automate trading strategies and trading positions, and they were quicker, you could have rows of machines instead of having humans that actually type in prices and looks at the stock market exchange and try and beat where the price is coming in out of. You could use a machine to do that. That became easy. So trading was the first to lose a lot of money on that. And then we went in, I spent some time as well at, I don't want to mention the bank, where we specifically looked into automation. Okay, and back office, a lot of functionalities were gone. These are all machine learning. Yeah, straight away. There's machine learning all the way through. So, but tech, I think, really stepped up when money came in. So if there's money involved and banking is involved, people can see. So people, again, most of the VC firms, they saw that a lot of money was being made on this and they could make money on this, especially when I think it was Renaissance Technology. So Renaissance are a hedge fund and they only had about, very, very small, I would say about 5 to 6 traders, and everything was machine learning. And they were making so much money that people looked at it to say, hey, how come these guys are making so much money and they only have a few traders? It turns out they were doing a lot of algorithmic trading, a lot of machine learning, and were quicker, way quicker on all the funds. Their funds were doing so well. Check them out, Renaissance Technologies. So because of that, people were like, wait, we need to do this more. And then VCs came in and said, imagine if you could do more with this. Imagine if Google, Google is doing so well, by the way. But imagine if Google, with the predictive text, right? So remember those days you could go in, and this is those days, years ago, before AI and all they're doing now. Those days you could go in and you could type, I don't know, if you're going to type, I want to go to the bathroom, right? You could say, I want to go to, and it knows straight away that you're going to type the bathroom next because it was predictive. It could tell that most likely, based on where you are, the time of the day, what you searched over the last few hours, what you had for breakfast because you ordered something in, you're definitely going to the bathroom next. Or you're going to the toilet because you drank a lot of coffee. So there was always that, which the predictive learning was a form of machine learning. But what they've done is they've just taken it one level up so that you can also do logic, you can do simulation based on what's on the internet already. Yeah. And what machine learning, most of these AI guys had to do was gather a bank of data from Microsoft. That's why you see Microsoft heavily invested in AI. Google heavily invested in AI because you have the data. And then Reddit, funny enough. So Reddit actually are the most close set of people. And they ended up selling a lot of their data to OpenAI. And OpenAI used that learning, that bank of data and information to actually create what we have today. I see all that to talk about, again, if you look at the history. So it's not, it's not the end of the world as they make it look like, but the greed, the corporate greed is what it's all about, and that's why it's failing. Okay. So we all know this as well. And it's given. We know this, right? OpenAI, at the moment, they make 9 billion, give or take, right? 9 billion. Again, 13 billion. Let's say 13 billion. And it's lower than 13, but we'll give them 13. Anthropic, again, are the same. People talk about Anthropic as if they are the savior of the world. Anthropic is one-to-one with OpenAI. In fact, the leader of Anthropic, Dario worked in OpenAI and left to form his own. So trust me, it's not, there's nothing better there. It's just they're the same. Yeah. And then the only thing is that one is just slightly tries to go against the government. That's all. But going against government doesn't mean they're good. That just means that they want to go against the US government. But when they do that, the business move, not because they love you, because they know the corporations will give them money. So Anthropic currently make 8 billion, while OpenAI make 13 billion. But guys, the definition of a bubble is when you're spending more than you're making. And that's the problem they have. So right now, as of last year, OpenAI, they're making 10 billion, give us 10 billion. They raised 125 billion cash, which they need. They're burning through 125 billion easily. This year, they're projecting to burn 200 billion. And they're not making a lot. They're making 10 million, 10 billion, sorry, the B. Okay, which is crazy. Anthropic, same thing. Anthropic, they raised 30 billion, more conservative, 30 billion, but they're only making 8 billion. So they're losing money. So the more they raise, the more they lose. Place that in parallel with DeepSeek. DeepSeek came up the other day and they came up with, I think they're spending less than that. So they came up and they were raising, I think they created their first version with 3K. The next version with $5 million. 5 million. Why these guys are burning through billions? And there's always the argument, okay, because they use their data set, but what if, imagine for some reason, if there was a fair market? Imagine if they had the same chips. Because I can tell you right now, they don't. In fact, NVIDIA gives chips for free to AI, OpenAI, and they have shares in AI. So they're basically in bed together. Yeah, there's incest going on there because you're giving money to someone and then you're putting as revenue, and then you're all like, it's all together. It might as well be the same company. That's NVIDIA. So NVIDIA now supplies both of them. Okay, while it's supplying both of them, it's giving them chips. Then those two, they're getting information from Google, from Reddit, from Amazon. So they're all in bed together. DeepSeek alone. So imagine if it was the same. That's my point. So these numbers that's what they call simple inflation, right? And that's what's called a bubble. Because since if I'm invested in a company and I'm selling to the company as well, that's the worst form of accounting possible, because all I have to do is put a number there. And I'll say, okay, you owe me 100 billion. Okay, good. He's going to say, I owe you 100 billion. Oh, wait, and that's my share. So I'll say, now you're worth 200 billion. Okay, there you go. You're worth 200 billion. So they keep going up. And easily, you can't do that as long as you want to do it, because it could go all the way to trillions. The truth is going to come out when, number one, they go public, or number two, it just falls apart, just busts, bubble just goes. Okay, I said it because I was talking to someone online, okay, and then the person came up and they argued with me passionately as well. They were like, hey, you people like you, like me, people like you make us lose when we're supposed to invest in something. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. That was it. So he wanted to invest and is waiting to invest and goes, hey, I want to invest. I'm like, yes, you can invest, right? But here's the point. You're investing in something that's called a bubble. Like, being a bubble doesn't mean it's fake. There was a housing bubble. That doesn't mean there's no house. This house can exist, but it can be overpriced. And that's what's called a bubble. And then it becomes a bubble because you can't afford to pay. If you can't afford to pay, then it crashes down. The value of the house goes down. And guess who gets stuck? People who invested. Unless you're able to sell. But most people don't sell because they hold on to it and look at the value and look at the numbers go up. And they're happy. And then they put more money. You've all seen this meme online, right? Where you keep giving money and then it goes up until the person runs away with the money. So that's the same case. So they keep giving money because they're seeing the value, seeing the returns go up, and keep putting more money in there until it goes, it busts, and everyone's stuck. That's what the bubble means. So I'm not saying, when I say AI is a bubble, I'm not saying it's fake. I'm not saying it's not a good tech. It's a good tech because it improves on what Google already had. But here's the point. It's an improvement on Google. That's all. So should it be burning through 200 billion per annum? Should it be burning through data centers? Should it be using 1.5 of the global water supply? 1.5% of the global water supply goes to machines, just cooling it down. That's the point. And should it be corporate? I remember saying this and people thought I was crazy, but I said, hey, this is all going to fail. It's going to blow up, but there's going to be so much data in it that they'll have to pass it on to the governments. So the governments have to split it up and not just take the loss. And guess who takes the loss? You and I, our pensions. The structure takes the loss. But these guys are going to fail because they're born, like, that's not a business. If you're burning so much money, you're making so little, that's not the same. 10 billion, 125 billion. So you're wasting 125 billion and you're only making 10 million per annum. That's what's called a bubble. Another part of the bubble as well is the claim to, people call it market fit, product market fit, right? Which is simple. It's just, hey, who's the product for? Here's the downside. Google can do this as well. Google already have their version of AI. Yeah. So what that means is AI is just a glorified search. If you want to do something, you go to AI, you ask a question. AI gives you an answer. Okay. But here's the downside. The product market fit is what matters, because are you going there to search for something or you're going there to ask? Regardless, you're not going there for anything other than to get information. And guess what used to be the paramount information place? Microsoft Search, Bing, or Google. So what's going to happen is people are going to start realizing that they can go into Google when they search for things and get an AI answer. So if you have an AI answer which summarizes the page for you, gives you information, Google already have their APIs. right? Google already have their conversations where you can go in and actually automate processes. So what's going to happen then is AI is going to be stuck there, just becoming a search. Why Google has a search, has YouTube video, which is what we're watching. If you're watching this on a video, you're searching. Yeah, and you're providing more entertainment, right? So you can have video and have more with it. And Microsoft have the same thing. They have access issues. They have Microsoft, YouTube. They don't know YouTube, but they have Microsoft, all the Office suites they have. Then they have AI as well. So it becomes that AI, which is the future. That's where things are going, right? That you're going to have productivity and AI, entertainment and AI. And then you're stuck with these guys who just have AI, OpenAI, Anthropic. That's all they've got. But they're all claiming to be worth billions. But all they have is just a tiny fraction of what these other two have. That's a problem. And that's why I call it bubble, okay? Which is just, that's all you've got. I mean, and good luck to Sam Altman as well. He tried to, with his best, he tried to do something close to what TikTok have and what Instagram, Facebook have, right? He tried to do Sora. And that failed woefully because he tried to do a video. If you do a video, you're right, then you bring entertainment and you do more than just search. But that failed, so that he's back to just search. I hope that changes, but right now it's a bubble. Okay. Then the other point as well, which still remains, yeah, is, and you know this as well, is they call it hallucinations. I don't like calling it hallucinations because it's just an error. It's a mistake. I mean, it used to happen. That's my point. Same thing in banking. I don't want to trivialize it, but it used to happen in banking where you go in and the machine or algorithmic trader goes in and puts in the wrong amount because they're reading the market wrong. That used to happen. A machine can read the market wrong. So a human quotes the machine. So the human is the one making the mistake. People say it's a hallucination. No, it's not. It's a human who is hallucinating. The human is putting the criteria for the machine. And then the machine makes a mistake. Who's to blame? The human. What people make it look like is the machine to blame. In fact, we had in finance, we had a whole thing called MiFID 2, and MiFID 2 or 3. Is that 3 now? No, MiFID 1 and 2, sorry. MiFID 1 and 2, the focus there was to try and look into algorithmic trading and responsibilities of when a trader should be responsible for algos it's putting out into the market. We're not getting that. In fact, this idiot, I don't call him an idiot, Dario came up and said, we have AI and AI is going to change. AI is going to, what do you call it? AI is going to take over 50% of the job. Oh my God. And the last one we released was too dangerous that we only released it to some companies. And I'm like, listen, where's the responsibility here? How are you releasing that and you're still saying it? It's as bad as me saying, we release some, some rings here and you can tap to pay. But guess what? The ring blows up on your fingers and your fingers to be gone. The solution is simple. I'm not going to release it. Don't release it. Don't even tell us. Unless you're trying to sell it and make it look bigger than what it is. That's a big way of saying that, the term hallucination is still there, which is basically wrong machine, wrong logic. And it's a problem, it's a problem today. It's still going to become a problem in the future. So such that if you go in and you know a topic, so people talk about this a lot, right? Check this online. If you know a topic, go ask ChatGPT. And that's the issue I have with Jensen. So Jensen said, hey, we should use AI for things we don't know and for things we know. No, we use it for things we don't know. I thought that was strategic. What you should do is you use AI for things you know so you can see how smart it is. And I can tell you 9 times out of 10, you're going to realize it's not that smart. Yeah? If you look at, and I remember this because the first few times I talked to AI, these were topics that I talked to AI, that I searched online on AI and it gathered all the information. I thought it was the coolest thing possible. I couldn't believe it. I was like, whoa, this is cool. Then I searched chemistry, came up with topics. I'm like, wow, this is cool. Then I searched physics. It came up with some topics around physics. I said, that's cool. Then I searched finance. And it came up with the most basic literature ever. Like a 5-year-old just copied different assignments and put it together. I was like, man, this is a mistake. This is not good. Maybe because I have a normal one. So I went for the Pro. The Pro was the same. I was like, there you go. Topic, checked out Claude. Claude was the same. So the point I'm trying to make is if you search AI and look for things you realize then that all it's doing is just searching. All the humans have done is to program the AI to search for different topics online, try and deduce an answer and put it out in front of you, which is not bad. That's utility. That's good. But is it worth trillions is what we need to talk about. It's not, So, I mean, hopefully, I think that hopefully addresses the point on why AI is failing right now. It's just because of the greed, okay? People really want to make it bigger than what it is. They want to try and make it look like, it's going to save the world. Oh, goodness, there's AGI. AGI is going to take over the world. And you're like, yeah, there's a putting value out there in terms of making the company big. As big as when Elon Musk says it's going to Mars. Then stock price jumps. Then it comes back and say, oh, no, we're going to go to the moon. then the stock price jumps. Then it goes, oh, no, no, no. Sorry, we can't make the moon anymore. We're going to go to outer space. We're going to put all our machinery for Grok AI, we're going to put in just outer space, rotating around the world. And then next is going to take it and put it in the desert, right? So the point is just the goal keeps going down, the goalpost keeps going down, and then people keep making noise. I think, guys, please let's watch out. Be careful, yeah, and just know that everything that's been done out there is done by humans, and humans are greedy. Humans are the ones that are greedy, not machines. Okay, that's it. I'll stop there for now, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.